want to forgive the man who promised everything. How you long to cut those strings, and she once was an uptown kid. Grew up squarely on the grid, but she didn't stay there, God forbid. No, now she's a Brooklyn girl. Her hammock on the fire escape fits her like a glove. Please don't make her feel she has to dance for your love. She'll boost her serotonin every now and then. She likes bad dogs and weepy men. Don't you wanna be far enough away from them but close enough to Bethlehem? And don't you wanna cry, dance beneath the sky with all the other shadow seekers, Hasidim and dime store preachers? She once was an uptown kid, grew up squarely on the grid, but she didn't stay there, God forbid. No, now she's a Brooklyn girl. Oh yeah, she's a Brooklyn girl. And what does that mean? She likes to walk instead of take the train. It don't matter if it rains, she'll stick her tongue out, catch the drops while skipping past Brazilian dress shops. Rain, it tastes better in the best borough. She'll still live here calm tomorrow. Plays her cards right, she'll be here all day. But what about that boyfriend in L.A.? Could she stand to live on the other side? Across the mountains, the great divide. Will she lose her marbles, lose her cool? If she swims laps in another pool, she'll light the candle on Friday night, and Saturday stare down her fright as the chemicals swirl around her brain, reminding her she loves the rain, she loves the sun, she loves the plan, the coconut dessert, the plant store man. But she knows to pick up when Dharma calls. Rain still rain anywhere it falls. Give her a scratch, give her a halls. Rain still rain anywhere it falls. Could she be home outside these walls? Rain still rain anywhere it falls. Rain still rain anywhere it falls. Rain still rain anywhere it. She once was an uptown kid, grew up squarely on the grid, but she didn't stay there, God forbid. For now, she's a Brooklyn girl.
So great. I'm guessing the title is Brooklyn Girl?
The title is Brooklyn Girl. Yeah, you guessed correctly. Yeah.
Which is now where you're based with your fiance, who may or may not be in this film. And, well, that's newer than the new album,
Yeah.
Eulogy, and there's a part 1 and part 2, which hasn't been released. So
Right.
That's coming up after.
This is part 3, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on part 3.
Well, tell us about, I know you've been in L.A., you now live in Brooklyn, but you came back home for a while, and a lot of the artists and bands that have been in here over the last year or so have talked about their new albums, and that resulted from the pandemic.
Yeah.
And with the title of yours being Eulogy, I'm guessing that might be the same case?
I think when you talk about something as broadly as death, I mean, it covers a lot. But certainly a lot of these songs were written early, mid-pandemic. And then I went through a breakup in Los Angeles, like around Thanksgiving of 2021, and for a number of very complicated reasons that aren't worth going into, I couldn't be in LA at my house. So I came to Columbus. My parents, I'm from here, and
Yeah.
My parents were in California, and so I was in my childhood home, kind of nursing my
Nice.
wounds from this ending of this relationship. And my buddy Kyle Cox, who's a great songwriter in Nashville, said, you know, you're not doing anything right now. Like, come to Nashville. Let's record some music. So 2 of our other friends were available, and I loaded up my dad's car, and I took my dog Nelson to Nashville, and we got an Airbnb and turned it into a music studio. And I spent a month, you know, I didn't know we could have recorded 5 songs on an EP. We ended up recording 23 songs and made a double album in this
Yeah.
month. And it, you know, it just turned into this much bigger project, but it was really joyful, and I was certainly backlogged with a lot of music, so I was grateful to get it all down.
Yeah, I read 50 songs you had written. So, and there's part 1 and part 2, but 23. How did you narrow it down?
Well,
Did you play all of them in the
yeah,
studio?
I kind of, I was sending them, before I came, I was sending them a lot of voice notes, and, you know, if it was on YouTube, and we just kind of crowdsourced, the 4 of us, and we said, all right, these are the songs that feel most vivid, most fully realized. And then we had this idea to do a more fully produced album that we'd work on during the day. And then Kyle, at night, after he put his kids to bed, I would come over and we would kind of just do straight to tape, you know, just a more acoustic record, like a kind of basement tapes record. And it wasn't like Volume 2 were the afterthoughts. It was more like, no, they would just be served by a more stripped down production.
Okay.
And so Volume 1 just, yeah, it's just, there's some acoustic tracks on there, but it's more fully produced. And we just we actually had 24. I took one off, and yeah, there, you know, next thing you know, you got a double album.
And it's available to pre-order, right? And the double album is available already, or just one? How's that work?
Okay, so Volume 1, if I understand this correctly, Volume 1 will be available a week from today, November 17th, and then sometime early next year, winter, early spring, Volume 2 will be available.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the show tonight? Are there any special early releases that you're going to have available?
I've been derelict in my merch duty as a musician because I'm new to this game. So my buddy Matthew Grossman, one of my high school friends, turned around a bunch of T-shirts for me very fast.
Nice.
So I have a merch table tonight, so you can get a Josh Radnor T-shirt. I have to go after this and get a credit card machine. Like I'm very very new to this whole thing, but that's the big reveal for tonight. But I think you know, if people have been following me, there'll be a couple songs people will know, a bunch of songs from Eulogy, and a bunch of songs that have yet to be recorded. But I think it'll be a really fun mix.
So fun. And it's the early show tonight at the Rumba. I believe 6:30 you go on? 7?
I believe I go on at 7.
7
Doors
o'clock.
are at 6, yeah.
All
Or
right.
6:30, I'm not
And we still have those tickets to give away after we'll finish the session. A couple more songs with Josh Radnor. And, you know, it's a learning process when you're newer to the game. You know, when you were here with Ben Lee the last time, that
Yeah.
was kind of where it all started for you.
Yeah.
Acting was first. And for those who don't remember this interview or didn't hear it, will you explain how that happened on the set? Ben Lee was there.
Yeah, he became a fan of the show, and they wanted to use one of his songs, and I think he was with a big label, and the label kind of priced the show out and said, no, you can't have that, you know. And then he didn't hear about it. It was just that, and so he finally started watching the show, and he called the creators to apologize for them not getting this song. And he said, I love the show, by the way. They said, come by the set, you know. And they said to me, do you know Ben Lee? And I said, yeah, I love his music. I had a bunch of his records, and they said, he's coming to set, you know. And we just went deep really fast, and have just really been friends ever since then. So I wouldn't be, and then a couple years ago we just started. It's about 9 or 10 years ago now. But we started writing songs together, and I didn't play guitar at the time, and I was relatively new to songwriting. But we just struck up this great, fantastic collaboration where we got to have this co-collaboration where we equally did the music and the lyrics, but I was also getting this great songwriting apprenticeship from someone who'd been doing it for a really long time, who really knew what he was doing, you know.
Yeah.
So I was able to offer what I felt and also ask him a billion questions and be in the studio with, you know, a really steady hand. And then when I started writing my own songs, I felt he was just so encouraging for me, but not just lyrically, musically. He really wanted to hear the melodies that were kicking around in my head. And I certainly would not be here without Ben.
That's such a cool story. I love it.
Yeah.
And when you were here together, he teased you about, because of your acting, how you would over-enunciate in the
I forgot about that.
in the
Yeah.
beginning when you started. Was
Yeah.
that on your mind later in those years?
Well, I
or-
think I've gotten lazier with my diction in a good way. You know, I think that you see it in fresh out of drama school kids are auditioning for Law and Order or something, and they're just they're over articulating things, and you're like, no, just say I never saw the guy. I think he went that way. But I definitely had to loosen up a lot of things. He taught me a lot about lyric writing. Sometimes my lyrics would be too poetic, and he'd say, no, they need to be flatter because they're going to have a melody with them. You don't want to get too rich with the language. I mean, there was all sorts of little tricks that he taught me that have served me well.
So cool.
Yeah.
It is Josh Radnor joining us live from Studio A. What's this next song you're going to do for us?
This is the fourth track on Eulogy. An unbelievable singer and songwriter from Nashville backs me up on the record. Her name's Audrey Assad. She's not here today. But this is a track I wrote in a hotel room in New York City, trying to convince myself not to call someone who wasn't that great for me. So it's kind of the opposite of Baby It's Cold Outside, just like, come over, it's cold. This was like, you can stay put. It's called You Can Sleep Alone Tonight.
All right.
Hold on, I'm just going to make sure I'm tuned up here. It was the B string, I knew it. It's always the B string.
Always the B string. It's just live radio. We love it.
There we go.
Back at the same hotel 1 year ago, I brought her back to this room. There's not much to say. She came back every day, twice that one afternoon. It wasn't just bodies, but oh, how our bodies tangled so effortlessly. There was much laughter before and after, and sometimes in between. I could call her up and say, how are you? How's things, are you doing? All right. But then a quiet voice, it tells me it's okay. You can sleep alone tonight. I got my toothbrush set out by the sink. I might just give it a go and climb into bed, read a page of that novel or zone out on some TV show. Don't think of her shoulders, her hips, or her smile, that she's just a cab ride away. She could be married or move to a new state and not wanna see your dumb face. Still I could call her up, be charming, say remember you and me, what a delight. But then a quiet voice, it tells me it's okay. You can sleep alone tonight. I could say the curtain is open. You don't want to miss this moonlight. But then a holy voice, it tells me you're okay. You can sleep alone tonight. You can sleep alone.
That is Josh Radnor live from Studio A. You Can Sleep Alone Tonight. The new album, Eulogy Part 1, comes out 1 week from today. And T-shirts available tonight at the Rumba
That's right.
Cafe.
That's the most important breaking news.
Or the sold-out show. After the next song he does for us, we'll give those tickets away. 7 o'clock showtime at the Rumba. And for those who don't know, you grew up in Bexley, and
Yeah.
you mentioned swimming in that first song, and I have heard you were a swimmer. Backstroke, was
Oh,
it?
yeah, that was not connected to my swimming days, but yes, yeah, it's a nice leap. I was a sprinter. Did you ask me what I was a freestyle.
Well, I didn't know if it was backstroke. Somebody said backstroke.
No, I was
Oh.
a sprinter.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was okay at backstroke. I could get pretty fast. I never I was never loved swimming. It was, just my whole family swam, so.
But a lifeguard as well?
I was never a lifeguard, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm getting false information here. But,
Where are you getting this stuff?
Little birdie. Little birdie.
Yeah.
But where did the acting start for you? When did you get into acting? Was it in high school?
Yeah, in
for
high
the
school I
drama?
just started doing musicals in high school.
Yeah.
And then it just lit something up in me, and I went to Kenyon College about an hour north of here, and
By Mount Vernon, where I'm from.
yeah. Oh, you're from Mount Vernon? Oh, wow, yeah. And I ended up being a drama major. I took a ton of other classes, but I was really able to spend a ton of time on stage. And then I got into the NYU grad acting program at Tisch right after school, and so went straight to New York City and trained for 3 years, and got booted out of there after I got my MFA, and just started putting an acting career together. And that's served me really well. But I think it freed me up in some ways, especially after How I Met Your Mother ended, a show I was on for a really long time. I just kept searching for, like, what do I want to do? Like, I know I want to keep telling stories, and I want to keep telling them as an actor, which I have, but I wrote and directed 2 films, and now I'm telling 3 to 4 minute stories with songs.
Yeah.
So I consider it all, kind of under the umbrella of storytelling.
It's art,
Yeah.
And Kenyon, you filmed one of your movies there, too,
Yeah,
right?
liberal arts. Yeah.
That's so cool. It's such a beautiful university.
Oh, it's
there,
gorgeous,
too.
yeah.
And, the album comes out, so it's a double album. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3 to come later.
Well, I don't know. I won't call it part 3, but you can think of it as part
Today.
3.
Yeah, we'll
today it's
call it
part
that
3.
today.
Yeah, that's the working title.
But do you mind sharing your first professional audition that led you to your first, paid role?
Oh, wow. As an actor?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got this Eric Bogosian play at Baltimore Center Stage, which, to me, Eric Bogosian was a towering playwright, and I got to work with him and be in the room with him for 2 months in Baltimore. And then my first TV job, I got cast on I forget what the name of this show was, but I was so excited. I auditioned for 2 roles, one smaller one, one bigger one. They called and they say, "You got the bigger role. You got the bigger role." And so I'm all set to film it on like a Friday, and they call on a Tuesday, and they said, "The rewrite just came through. They cut your role, but you're still getting paid."
Oh,
So I
okay.
made the money, but I didn't get to be on TV for the first time. So that was pretty crushing. And I think my first, speaking of Law and Order, I think my first TV appearance was, oh no, it was a sitcom called Welcome to New York, and then I did a Law and Order.
Nice.
You're not a New York actor until you do a Law and Order. So yeah.
You see lots of faces, familiar faces
Yeah,
that you didn't
yeah.
realize because those shows are still on, still
I
on.
know. Yeah.
And Hunters,
Yeah.
that final season, right?
Yeah, we're done with that.
We're done
We
with
did
that,
2
and
seasons.
you wrapped in Prague. Was it basically filmed there the whole most of it?
No, we did the second season. We shot it mostly in LA, but we did a month or 5 weeks in Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So studying a character like that, it's not a real life, based on a real life. You're
Lonnie Flash.
Lonnie, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that role? And I know you've given up a couple vices, right? And
Are you asking if I did a ton of cocaine to
Well,
prepare for that role?
in all seriousness, though, because I'm sure some actors do that. And for
Yeah,
the
I'm not
risk
one of those.
No.
Yeah. My acting teacher at NYU, Ron Van Loo, used to say that a character was a 50% meeting of you and the actor and the character. And I think when you get a role, getting a role professionally on television, it's really hard. It's like it's never easy. You always feel like it's a big break, and it's fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got the role, I had to assume there's something about me that resonates with this character. So then you just have to sometimes find it. You have to maybe even see something in yourself that they didn't see. I mean, I certainly know how to be a professional actor.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to be both egoic and insecure. I've had my own, vices that I've put down or struggled with, and I don't like Nazis. So the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like I just kind of, I understood, and even if, I've had my own kind of visibility and stuff, but I've been around some, really, really famous people and seen that it doesn't really solve anything, and they can be as insecure, if not more, than most people. So I really liked playing his mix of bravado and insecurity. It came once I found his walk and his facial hair, like the character kind of came easy to me. Yeah, it was so fun.
And yeah, such a fun character, and the wardrobe costume, those shirts. You could have.
Oh yeah.
You didn't save anything from the set, right?
I don't believe I did.
Yeah.
No.
And it's funny. What do studios do? Do they donate old?
I think they have these like
Vaults?
aircraft hangars with
Okay.
just every studio has their own. I remember I wore a lot of clothes. I think that Bobby Cannavale wore on vinyl. Do you remember that show Vinyl on HBO? It was about like the 70s and the record industry. But it was a similar. Yeah, we had. I think we had the same costume designer first season. So certain shows will have a similar aesthetic or time period, and so they'll pull a bunch of, or they just they've got a lot of like wide lapel kind of satin shirts around.
Well, and enough time has passed since Saturday Night Fever came out. I mean,
That's
it could
right.
be like
That's
you could have
maybe I'm
worn
wearing
something.
Travolta stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So it's so fun to be here with you and hear the stories and sharing the stories, taking the time to do it with your busy schedule, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Oh, thank you. It's really good to be back here. I walked in and I was like, I've been here before.
And music is so important to all of us, obviously, here. It's what we love and what we do. And, when you're not in Prague or filming somewhere else and listening to WCBE on the internet every day, what is your source for music, new or old?
Well, when I lived in LA, I was a big KCRW person. And Nick Harcourt was doing Morning Becomes Eclectic around that time, and I used to scoop so much great music from him. And they would do great in studio performances. That's why this is a thrill for me to be able to do. And I'm a Spotify person. I listen to my Discover Weekly, and I also have a lot of friends who I trust musically. And sometimes I think if you listen to similar music, the algorithm gets it overlearns, like it gives you the same kind of stuff. And I want to hear jazz and classical, like I want to hear a variety of stuff. So I depend on some of my musically knowledgeable friends to send good stuff my way.
So
my
cool.
fiance scoops good music too.
Yeah,
so
and congratulations on your engagement.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
ETA on anything on the wedding, or have you?
We'll tell you after.
Okay, yeah,
We'll tell you after we get married.
We're not gonna alert the world right now.
Yeah.
Alert the media. Josh Radnor is live from Studio A, and we'll have the tickets to give away after this third song that he wraps it up with. And again, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
And what's this last one you're gonna do?
This is a song called Learning. I wrote this with Kyle Cox. It's one of my favorite songs on the record, and I think it's the second to last song on Eulogy Volume 1, and it just came out as a single 2 weeks ago, I think. So yeah, it's called Learning.
Josh Radnor live from Studio A.
Don't be lonely. My mother told me choosing lonely is the worst thing you can do. Find a sweetheart, start a family. When the lights go out of someone next to you, I found a lover who became a mother. A little house, a tire swing, a maple tree. I hold my baby, touch my lady. But late at night, it's just loneliness in me. And I am learning to be lonely. I am learning it's okay to be lonely. Don't be scared, son. A father's warning. You'll never make it in this world if you're afraid. Be a man, kid. Quit your crying. love my dad, I needed him, so I obeyed. Got a good job, make 6 figures. Can't shake the feeling that it all one day could end. Never show it in the daylight. The fear comes crashing in each night at 3 a.m. and I am learning to be scared. I am learning it's okay to be scared. All my old friends were so happy. I followed them from town to town and place to place. I had a sadness I couldn't show them. I wore a mask so long that it became my face. Now it's different. The glacier's melting. The man can handle things the boy could never bear. It gets dark now, an hour early. Light my way home, Lord, that's my only prayer. And I am learning to be sad. I am learning it's okay to be sad, to be scared, to be lonely, to be sad, to be scared, to be lonely and afraid, to be a human being who feels everything. I am learning, I am learning, I am learning, I'm still learning. I am learning, I'm still learning.